the season.
Donofrio, but he drove a great race.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he really did. Calm, consistent,
smooth.
Didn't overdrive the car. Now, this is something that again, I don't come on the show. I don't slam drivers. I don't put people down. I'll talk the truth. I'll give my honest opinion. That's what I do.
It's not criticism. It's just observation.
Right. It's an observation. Now, with BJ Donofrio, last year, it was either really good or he was near the back. It was kind of a front or back deal with him last year. And if he can do what he did Saturday night all year long, you might be onto something here, Dom.
I might win.
Because he looked good.
Yeah.
That was probably the best race I've seen him run. Top to bottom, flag to flag. Probably the best race I've seen him put together as a whole race. He looked pretty darn good. But you got to remember, this is one of those tracks that everybody likes because there's a lot of moisture and it's hooked up and you can use it. He's got a high horsepower Ford motor in there. We know. I think you see championships won when that track slicks off. If he can keep that Swartz doing what he did Saturday night, Dom, you're right. He's going to be a real threat for the title.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And you know I'm a Chevy guy.
I know, but I am too. But you want to talk facts? We'll talk facts. I mean, that's what we do. Yeah. The winner of the Super Sport feature, Chris Mott,
burning him down.
That wasn't a burn down. That was a nuclear explosion that nearly leveled the entire place. Did you see what that dude did to that field of cars? I mean, at one point, he was, I'd say, a half a lap.
It was almost a half a lap.
Almost a half a lap on the field. And if they didn't get that late caution.
Oh, I'd almost say he'd start lapping.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, this was the comparison. And because Dom comes from an NHRA background, a lot of high horsepower drag racing. And truly on the restarts, as good as he was from the start of the race, Chris Mott, the restarts is where he absolutely killed this field.
It just must have an incredible 0 to 60 foot time. Just
so his cars are so similar.
Yeah.
Looking at him, and I didn't get a chance to talk with him during our pit cruise, and we had to get back up in the tower. I thought he brought, watching how that car worked, I thought he brought the Rocket chassis. So I'm announcing all night long he's in a Rocket. Got down to Victory Lane. I said the Rocket was working good. He says, we brought the GRT tonight. Thanks for letting me know, Chris. But, man, and I'm going to say it, he put something on these guys Ajax ain't taking off. Dominated. And I even said, out of the corners on the restart, it looked like Big Daddy Don Garlis or John Force. I mean, this car was launching like a fuel. It was nuts. Almost like what I was talking about with Rob May and the Black Diamond, the forward bite out of the corner. I'm getting in, he was good. But coming out, he's pulling 3-4 car lengths on him. So Dave Miller says, actually the impact on my car broke the upper fifth arm bracket. Took a few laps to brake completely. Took out the driveline and yoke on the rear end. Sorry to hear that, Dave. Hopefully you get that fixed. I'm going to say you got a couple, at least another 10 days to work with. We're not going to race. We're not going to race this weekend with a 90% chance of rain.
Not with that attitude.
It's not about my
Negative
attitude.
Nancy.
I'm a realist.
I complain a lot.
I'm a realist. But I do want to say congrats to Chris Mott. Drove a fantastic race. And this is the dude in this class. When that track, you give him a track condition like that, he loves that stuff. He loves it heavy and hooked up and a little rough. And he'll drive over those ruts they're not there. He's not afraid of that. And he did that Saturday night. He'd come off the bottom just right through those ruts on the hammer, and that car was going forward. Incredible. That was fun to watch. Now, again, we know how fast he is. I think he had 3 wins last year.
Yeah.
A couple of them came real early in the season. Then he had a whole bunch of second-place finishes on the dry slick. At the end of the season when it cooled off, what did he do? Went out and won again. I mean, that's just what he does. But he is one of those guys, when you see that track like that and that temperatures drop and there's moisture in the air and it's on the track, Super Sports, Chris Mott, watch that 16 car. And, man, was he awesome Saturday night.
Yeah, good time.
It was fun. I was looking forward to cautions because just what he was doing on the restarts was just incredible.
Just that launch.
Unbelievable. So from the Super Sports, do you want to talk mods or sport mods next, guys?
I think we should talk about sport mod since that's Sam's favorite class now.
All right, we'll talk sport mods.
I don't know. That's going to be a big topic. You might want to just get the mods out of the way.
You want to do mods?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So we'll go to our feature division of the night. We're going to go to our feature division. We're going to
we
move
didn't
in.
run late models this year.
So we didn't run late models. We had the IMCA modifieds in the house, and man, did we have a bunch of them. We had 19 in the feature, 30 laps. We'll move up through the field. Mark Gaylord, real bad luck. A lot of damage to the 34. Heavy damage to the right rear corner. And we had a big wreck. What was there, 8 cars in that wreck?
Yeah, it was on one of the first few laps.
Yeah. Lap 3.
Yeah.
So, again, I think it was one of those things where
I really don't even know what happened.
It's chaos.
Yeah,
I mean, just,
that's all I can say.
think what it was just everybody was just chomping at the bit to go. They got the first couple laps in, and guys started feeling the horsepower under them, started getting brave, and when that happens, and in a pack like that, the cars were still packed up pretty good. That's kind of the result we see.
And that turn was slippery.
It was, and unfortunately, it claimed a whole bunch of cars. I think there was 8 of them involved in that wreck. Now, a couple of them got going, didn't lose a lap. There were positions 15 through 19, so 5 cars did go numerous laps down. And some of the names in that were, Mark Gaylord, the 34 car, the Les Schwab's, the good-looking car, fast, was working good. He was one of the deals. Matthew Dreger.
Yeah.
Terrible start to the season. Saw a post, and I did talk with him. He says there is a ton of damage to that car. He says right now he thinks that car is junk.
That's what he's saying today. I talked to him. He says, I'm not
sure. The
sure.
rear clip has moved over about a foot.
Well, luckily they have a jig for that.
Well, they do, but with all the customers he has waiting in line for work, it's going to be a while before we see Dreger, if we see him again this year. That's unfortunate.
I think his statement was he's going to be the best Hornet crew chief there is.
Well, okay, that's fair. Just ahead of him was the 2G, James Welshawn. Again, a fast car that got caught up in that deal and ended up having to retire early in the race. He completed 11 laps. Doug Lockwood in the 66, the former champ at Sunset. He purchased that car. It's the car that Dustin Cady drove last year, the 7. Put some tape over the side, put a big 66 on the sail panel. Did you watch how fast he was in the heat and the race? I mean, he was in mixing up some big names, and he was right there with them. That was a fun race. Snakebit, when that whole deal happened there, he completed 15 laps in the 16th position. Ahead of him, another driver that we expected to race for a win is the 24 of Curtis Towns. He completed 15 laps, and he finished in 15th. 26 laps in, our 14th place driver pulled off the track, mixing it up early in the race. I was told it was due to bent steering. That's the report I got. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it was tie rod. I don't know. But the 7 of Dustin Cady was really, really fast. He was right up there in the top 2 or 3, racing for the lead, racing for the win.
And we watched it start falling back, unfortunately.
Started falling back after I think it was a 3-wide deal out of turn 2. I think, am I right when I say that, Sam? Was it a 3-wide deal where a little bit of contact was made?
Are you talking about the Campos incident?
No, I'm talking about 7.
7?
Dustin Cady.
Pretty sure it was a 3-wide.
I think, I might be wrong when I say that, but I think that's when it happened. But he did start fading towards the back, and we're talking about what's going on because he was was our race leader for several laps to start the race. Faded back to the 14th position. 13th, debuting in the IMCA modified class with, a pretty good run, 2 laps down. Lauren Cruzy in the 31.
Yeah, he wasn't scared to push that.
He proved that early on. He wanted to find out where the limits were, and he found it. He did spin a couple times in the program, but learning a new race car, and he said that thing's got a ton of power. He likes the way that car drives. He's in that is a GRT chassis. Am I right when I say that?
Yeah, that's a GRT.
Yeah, GRT. All in all, I'd say Lauren looked pretty darn good in that car.
Yeah.
Coming out of the Sport mod up to the IMCA mod this year.
He brought that thing in fast to the turns.
Yeah, he was driving that car in. There is no doubt. Just ahead of him in the 12th spot, the 23K Kersey Ferrando. She was 2 laps down, completed 28 laps. Ahead of her, the 387 Chance Heiser. Can't miss that car on the track.
Yeah.
Numbers are as tall as any of us here, and red with fluorescent yellow numbers.
Yes.
I hadn't seen Chance before. Not a bad run. Actually,
pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. And again, got caught up in that mix-up in turn 2 with the 8 cars. He actually ended up 2 laps down, 28 laps completed in the 11th spot. Moving into the top 10, this was the surprise of the night for me. 10th place, 2 laps down, Lightning John Campos.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about this because when he got that car fixed, and I think the early cautions, the big caution and giving him time, sure. Sam, you were down there. You were right there in the mix, helping get that car put back together to get back on the track. Tie rod?
Yeah, it was the inner tie rod was sheared.
Just
on the right front. It's the aluminum piece where it goes in. When I looked at the video from the main, what little footage there was before all the mud,
right,
it looked like him and Colin and Bryson were 3 wide, and you're not going to get any one of those guys to really back down.
No.
I don't care if it's the beginning, middle, or end. Those 3 guys are going to let you know I'm here and I'm not moving. You're going to have to go around me. And I'm pretty sure that John's right front tire got Bryson's left rear tire and tight racing, and it came off.
And it was, and that was, again, out of turn 2, another 3-wide situation. I will say this. After watching that, I'm going to bet there are dents in the floorboard of the John Campos car because that took some kahunas to even try. I mean, to go between, it was Weinbarger and Bryson, just wide enough to put a car in there, and he tried it. That's a race for position. And like you said, he knows, hey, these guys aren't going to lift. They're not going to give me anything. If I'm going to get by these guys, I'm going to earn it. He tried it. It didn't work. Ended up breaking the tie rod. He still finished 2 laps down, which, given the cautions we had, helped him get that car completed to get back out there. But once he got back out there,
that thing was on a mission.
He was one of, if not the fastest car on the racetrack. I don't have a lap time for him. I do have a lap time for him in the feature. His fastest lap in the feature was 16.864. Okay. The fastest lap in the feature was actually turned in by the 7 of Katie, I believe. 16.665.
Wow.
So the 2 fastest cars were, weren't even racing for the win. But
which
Campos.
Katie?
Huh?
Which Katie?
Dustin.
Okay.
The 7 was actually the fastest car early in the race when he was up front with clear traffic, 16.665. That's pretty darn good. But Campos came out even after. Now, Sam was down there. They said, they kind of looked at it. They just kind of guessed on the toe, eyeballed it, put him back out there, and he was every bit as fast as the top 3 or 4 cars. He was in that mix with the leaders, still a couple laps down, and he wasn't letting up.
No.
He was right there with them, and those guys had to be thinking, man, this guy's working us out.
He's not giving up.
He's not, and that's not who Campos is. He's not going to get 2 laps down or not. He's going to give everything he's got, and it was actually fun to watch because, even knowing he's 2 laps down, he was still right there with the leaders, and it would put on a great show for the fans.
Well, you still have to race.
You have to, yep. Yeah.
You don't have to, but the competitor.
What if you get lucky? What if you get lucky and get a lap back?
It's not even the what if. It's the experience, the seat time, the everything.
Mm-hmm. 9th place out of Redmond, the other 36 car.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picks a pair of 36s for the night to go GoPros on.
Sean Maya completed all 30 laps, the last car in the lead lap. And he was, when I say last car in the lead lap, he was not far from the leader, a 14.930 in difference behind the leader. So they were coming up on him. Tells you how fast the leaders were up front. An impressive run by Sean Mayo. He's always fast at Willamette in the modifieds. Good driver, clean, stays out of trouble, very smooth. Did have a little bit of trouble down in turn 2. He got looped around.
Yeah.
Stayed on the lead lap, kept his composure, and still drove a heck of a race. Got inside the top 10, finished 9th. Aaron Elwes was 8th in the 48 car. Again, one of the drivers that was mixed up in that big melee in turn 2. So to drive and he went again to the back and drove up to 8th. An impressive run for the 48 of Aaron Elwes. 7.312 seconds off the leader when he crossed the stripe. Just ahead of him, Derek Young from Burns. That is a 5.5, 6 hour tow?
I believe
from Burns to Willamette. And that's a long tow. Beautiful race car, the 12Y.
I really like that
Beautiful race car. And this is a guy that, honestly, over the last 2 years, not seen him a lot up until last year. Watch this